Just got the forge line bead locks in, 18 inches. We're gonna slap the Toyota RRs on them. Alright, got the rubber on the rims. If you guys have never done bead locks before, it was pretty easy. You just put the rim on and the tire, and then you got to clamp that down and then torque it like it says, 18 foot-pounds in a start. That probably took the longest part, was torquing all these bolts. Wasn't hard at all. Got the transmission back from Calvo, so it's time to slap this bad boy in. We're just going to follow the instructions just like it says. Instructions pretty easy. First thing you need to do is take this off. Alright, got the clutch disassembled. It's a really nice piece. Just have to pay attention to the numbering. Everything's labeled and how it goes back together. There's a lot of pieces actually. I got the 4-disc. So there's 4 of these big discs, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the little ones. You just gotta pay attention to the numbers. Everything's labeled and how it goes back together and everything like that. But yep. So now next thing is to pull the flywheel off and then put this bad boy on. Got the old clutch out. Real easy. Take off these. They're actually 17mm bolts. Take them bad boys off, and now let's go ahead and put these ones on. And then the clutch comes with all of the hardware and everything like that. So that's your spacer for your slave cylinder. Here are the new bolts. We're just going to install this bad boy. For these bolts, I didn't have the correct socket. It's a 12-point. I had to go and buy one. It is 5/8. Just received the transmission from Calvo. I got the upgraded front plate for right now, and eventually I will do the case, but that'll be later. It was just a little bit too expensive right now. I'll probably drive it and then drive it for a year, 2 years, and then do the case eventually. I also requested all the parts to line up the clutches and stuff like that. The clutch didn't come with a alignment tool or anything like that, so I'm just going to end up using the forward shaft here as an alignment tool. Alright, we're installing the clutch, like I said. So according to the directions, you have to put this lapping compound with a brush, and then just inside the grooves there, and then you take the clutch hub and you slide it on and back and forth to get any deburrs or anything like that off of it. And then it says clean it, so then we just cleaned it. I just used paper towels with my nail. It says to use this supplied brush, but it was easier to use my nail and a paper towel. Alright, we are installing the clutch now. I'm using the old output shaft as a clutch alignment tool, like I said. I got the first 2 discs on there, and we just got to keep on stacking. Alright, clutch fully installed. It wasn't too bad. It took a little bit of time. The shaft kept getting stuck inside there, so I had to slowly tighten and move the shaft in and out to get it correct. And then you just slowly crisscross pattern, just like the instructions said. Not too big of a deal. I also installed a brand new throwout bearing. There's a spacer in between here and there. You just put it on, you got the 2 bolts, you Loctite them, 15 foot-pounds, not hard. Next is to install the transmission. I know I'm not going to be able to install it with the shifter on there, so I need to figure out where exactly I need to remove it. Either this bolt and this bolt, which will take out the entire shaft, or if it's easier to do these 4 bolts and then the pin down here. I haven't decided yet, I haven't figured it out. And then we also need the wiring diagram for the load cell and for this bad boy. We will be installing this next. Ready to install the transmission, or attempt to. it looks like, so I took off the switch, which is just these 2 bolts here, and then for the load cell, that little bolt, and then these 4 bolts right here, and it should come right off. If I unscrew it all the way. And we should be able to drop this, install the transmission, and then drop this through the normal hole. That's my plan, and we'll see how it works. With the transmission out, I talked to Calvo about the wiring for the load cell. So we have 3 wires here, black, red, and white. Red's gonna be 12 volts on, black's gonna be ground, white's gonna be signal wire. Pretty simple. And there's also, for the gear position, there's a little Cannon plug right here on it, and they sent me the harness. I will connect this before I install it, connect it, and then this end goes to your gauge, and then this end is exactly the same. There's a bunch of wires, but Calvo said I didn't need them. The only ones you need, which makes sense, is the black, pink, and red. Red being 12 volts, black being ground, and then pink being your signal wire. Transmission in is pretty straightforward. Just put everything back together basically. Right now we are doing the shifter, so we have the wires ran. Connect the plug definitely before you put it in, because that's a pain. Yeah, pretty straightforward, just put it in. Also installed the Douglas Shelby mount. That was kind of a pain, just getting everything lined up and everything like that. I had to bang on it to get everything lined up. We're putting the shifter in right now. The last thing I have to do is up here. There's a bolt that goes to right there, across there. That's gonna be a pain, but it shouldn't be too bad. I did have to make a tool to get the bolts in for the shifter. So this is what I used. I just took an Allen key and cut off the end, and then actually, after it's down and everything like that, I use this as a pry bar basically. I'll show you which ones I need to use that. Otherwise, you can just use that guy. I cut the boot off, the rubber boot. Calvo said they normally cut it in half, but it was a pain in the ass, so I said fuck that and just cut it all the way off. You can see these bolts. There's the one all the way down there, and then the one all the way down there. So those 2, that one and that one, I had to use that Allen key. These 2 over here, those are easy, you just use the regular thing. So everything's in right now, so now we need to go hook up that other linkage. Alright, shifter's almost all the way installed. I had to cut a little hole right here for the boot to go through, and then I also cut a little hole for the shifter gauge right in that end. So if you wanted to open it, it just opens, and then close it. It just closes like that. I'm probably going to use double-sided Velcro, and Velcro it probably like right there, just like anything else. All I got to do now is put the shifter on. Transmission pump, coolant pump, all installed. We have the pump, which goes to the little radiator, goes all the way back to the spray bar right there for the transmission. You can see right here, this is where my temp sensor is. Temp sensor and my, can't really see it back there, my filter, just in case anything happens. So that's all done, leak checked and everything like that. I've already started it up, messed with the settings. All the gear position sensor is correct now. We just gotta do the load right now, but it's too hot and getting late. I don't want to keep running it. Next thing is to put on the back bumper thing, and then take her for the initial around the block. So the two wires for the, just plug into here into the ECU, the spare plugs. They're both analog voltage. So I just ran, like I said, red to power, black to ground, and then the pink, which is for my gear position sensor, to my analog voltage, and same with the load cell to the analog voltage. The clutch throwout bearing, it's taking a while to pump up. I pumped it probably over 150 times right now. It took a little bit of fluid. It's a brand new one, so it's completely empty, so it might take a little bit more pumping. And she disengages, but it doesn't feel like she's fully disengaged. Feels like she's still got a little bit more fluid to retain. If there's anything else you guys want to see, let me know. The next videos will probably be me racing and stuff like that, because this is pretty much done now. For right now, this is how it's gonna sit. Like I said, we gotta do a little bit of tuning for the load cell, and then for the gauge, the gear position gauge over here. I'll get that for you guys really quick. See it light up. It needs to be calibrated, which there's buttons on the back really quick. You just, as soon as it's in gear, you just push the little button. It's not in second gear right now, it's actually in neutral, and that's why you got to calibrate it. That's what Calvo said, so we just got to calibrate it, and then it'll actually show the, like I said though, if there's anything you guys want to see, let me know. Thanks for watching.